What's going on, peeps? Today is a special day for me. It is my birthday week, and I got an early gift. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but I do have a new microphone. My daughter and my son chipped in together and decided to purchase this for me, and I was intending on buying it actually pretty soon, and just blown away that they did this for me. They got me a Blue Yeti, and very happy with the sound quality, and this is great timing because I wanted to do this podcast, and now I'm able to do it with a much better microphone. So that's really good. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. With this, I also am trying to expand my channel and trying to bring better content, funnier content, and more news. As I'm sure some of you have noticed, I'm posting a lot more videos. So I really do appreciate the support. And if anything you guys do, whether it's share the video or just give it a thumbs up or a comment, I really do appreciate it. And that brings me to the first topic that I wanted to discuss, and that is Killer Instinct Season 3. I'm really excited about this. I recently did a video where I had my Killer Instinct Season 3 wish list. And, it was a wish list. I wouldn't say that some of the things, the characters that I put in there, a style of characters that I put in there would even be a realistic choice because, there are some licensing issues and things like that. But I think with Killer Instinct, they've kind of done this, especially with like horror films and certain type of like those kind of characters. They have a lot of pop culture references and little nods to different things, Con Ra, Mum Ra, things like that, where, you have Omen that kind of looks like the demon from The Exorcist, which I did a video on that as well. So they're doing a lot of that stuff. So I'd like to see, characters with, like a Medusa type of character. I think that would really fit in well with the KI universe. But who knows where they're gonna go? Because with Rash and just having a Battletoad in the game is just, it's crazy. But in some odd way, initially I didn't think it fit well, but I do think it fits really well now. And I think it's needed for a game like that because the game is really over the top. And hey, if Street Fighter can have a Mexican wrestler holding a frying pan running around, I'm sure KI can have a Battletoad, right? So, really happy about that. Some news as of late regarding KI. We do know that Kim Woo's going to be in the game. They obviously hinted at her at the end of that trailer. And so, they recently confirmed it. So that's going to be really cool. I'm sure they're going to finish up the roster from KI 1 and 2. So I'm sure we'll get the bosses. I'm sure we'll get Tusk. And that's going to be great. And recently, Mick Gordon, the composer for the music on Killer Instinct, he left, so he's not doing anything for Season 3. The replacements is Atlas Plug and Cell Dweller. I checked out some of their music online. All you got to do is just go to YouTube and type up their names, and music from some of their past work will come up. So I'm confident that from hearing a lot of their stuff, I'm confident that KI is going to be in good hands when it comes to the music. And it wouldn't be a bad thing to get kind of like a change in style and perspective when it comes to doing the music. As long as, they're up to the task, I'm sure it's going to turn out great. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. And with the trailer for Rash, that's actually something that they did. So it did fit in well for that Killer Instinct universe. So looking forward to that. Other things I'm looking forward to in Season 3, I am hoping that they do a graphic upgrade on Killer Instinct. Now, the graphics are really nice and everything, but given that Street Fighter 5 is coming out the same month and Mortal Kombat is out, I think if they can bump it up to 1080p and keep it, obviously it's already at 60 frames. It's actually higher than 60 frames from what I remember one of them saying. With them doing that, it would be nice to just. It's not going to be too much of a big difference as far as graphics are concerned from, I think it's 900p to 1080, but just so they can say it's 1080 and it's running at 60, that'll make it on par with at least what the final goals are for Street Fighter 5. And Street Fighter 5 is turning out to look pretty nice. I mean, every time I see it, just playing the beta the other day, it's really coming along. So I'm sure that they're going to try to shoot to at least be the best animated fighting game for this generation. So I'm hoping that they do bump up the graphics a little bit for Killer Instinct. Another little feature I would like to see is actually a training room right before you go into your match. So while you're searching for your matches, it would be pretty cool if they were able to implement that. I think it's a really cool feature to have, even in Call of Duty, where this last one where you're able to practice your weapons before you go into a match. A lot of times you don't really have much time to go into a match, especially for a game like Killer Instinct or fighting games where it's just you versus one other person. They don't have to set up a room with a bunch of people. But I do think it would be a nice thing to have, especially if you start working on a newer character. It'd be pretty cool to do that. So that's one feature that I hope that they are able to implement. It's going to be really interesting. Season 3, the only thing that I kind of take a little issue with is the fact that Killer Instinct Season 3 is coming out the same month as Street Fighter 5. I don't know what the thinking was behind that. Maybe Microsoft feels like, okay, it's not going to be too much of a threat to them because it's not like Street Fighter 5 is coming out on the Xbox One. But I think everyone who's interested in playing Street Fighter 5, if you had your choice, and I'm talking people who either have a PC or a PS4, if you had your choice, a lot of people are going to go to the new thing. Not to say that they're not going to be interested in KI, because I'm going to be really interested in KI, but I know for me, I'm going to have to divide my time early on. And if they release Season 3 where it's more than one or two characters, and they have multiple characters, then that's going to make it a little bit difficult. I don't know about you guys, but I know for myself personally, it's a little difficult for me to learn two different fighting games or at the same time. I mean, I'm not a Justin Wong where I'm doing 3 or 4 fighting games at one time. So to start learning the whole system in Street Fighter 5 while I'm trying to learn some of the new characters in Season 3, it might be a little bit much to ask for if you're trying to be competitive in one. So I don't know what the thinking was behind that. Maybe it's just the way the development cycle is happening and this is what they were targeting. Maybe they're not even considering what's going on with Street Fighter 5. Who knows? All I know is it's going to be a little difficult, I think, for them. Now, the Killer Instinct community is still going pretty strong. Whenever I log in, I'm able to get a match, no problem. People are still talking about it. In fact, usually when I post videos on it, those are my most watched videos, are the Killer Instinct ones. So, and Maximilian, everybody knows who he is. If you play Killer Instinct, he still has a pretty strong base when it comes to people tuning in to watch any of his week ofs when he did for Rash. So Killer Instinct, it's a strong community and it's growing, but you're talking it's going to be going up directly against Street Fighter 5, and I don't even think NetherRealm Studios would have wanted Mortal Kombat to go up against Street Fighter 5. As popular as Mortal Kombat is, Street Fighter 5 is still king of the hill. So that's a little concerning for me, but we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to playing both. In fact, I do understand that as of today, Street Fighter 5, the beta was running a little while ago. I just came back from going out to dinner, and I wanted to do this podcast before I went ahead and tried to jump on there and play some matches on Street Fighter 5. But we'll see. I'll probably jump on there and do a couple after this. But that's pretty much my thoughts on Street Fighter 5 and Killer Instinct. One other thing I wanted to talk about before I let you go is Mortal Kombat X. I just recently did a video where I listed the top things that I thought were wrong about Mortal Kombat X. I wanted to also kind of do a video where I'm explaining what I thought Mortal Kombat does right, but I think that's a little self-explanatory, and it's kind of late in the game as far as what it's doing right. I mean, obviously we know it looks beautiful. There are some really fun gameplay mechanics, and it's a good game. And I don't want to give anybody the impression that from my last video that I'm totally done with Mortal Kombat X and I hate Mortal Kombat X. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I actually loved Mortal Kombat 9, and I like Mortal Kombat 10. I just think when you compare them to what they did to Mortal Kombat 9, I feel like they came up a little short. I feel like gameplay-wise, after playing Killer Instinct and going through the netcode on that, I don't feel like they're stepping up their game. Capcom, with all the problems that the beta gave us, whenever you do get a match, and I experienced this the other day, the netcode seemed to be really good. Sure, there was a couple of lag issues here and there, but it wasn't like a copy and paste from Street Fighter 4. You can clearly see that they are making a lot of efforts to make this a better fighting game online. Thus, that's why we have a beta, which MKX, they should have done a beta. They should have been trying to fix this. And the game's already been out quite a few months already, and although there are some improvements, I don't see too many improvements online as far as the input delay and the overall lag. So it is disappointing. I think a lot of the smaller problems with Mortal Kombat X I would be able to ignore if the netcode was good. But because the netcode isn't good, it kind of just makes a lot of the other issues that I have with the game become more of just small little things that are kind of nagging me. They actually become pretty big problems. So I don't know how you guys feel about MKX. MKX is very popular. Mortal Kombat is a very popular franchise. The Combat Pack seemed to be really good. I thought the Combat Pack, I thought Tanya was great. She was much better than I expected her to be. Jason is a lot of fun. Tremor looks cool as hell, and so does a Predator. So good job as far as character design and graphics and how they implement the story and everything. And overall, just really, really good. I really think that as far as the presentation goes, MKX is really well done, but it just falls short on the gameplay, and I think most people will agree with me on that. I want to ask you guys one last favor. If you have any time, if you listen to this and you've been watching some of my videos, I would appreciate if you have any kind of suggestions, any kind of advice, anything you dislike that I'm doing on the channel, things that you may like that I'm doing on the channel, please leave a comment. I look forward to hearing anyone's opinion on that. If you don't want to just leave a comment, you can even send me a message. I try to reply to anyone who sends me any kind of comments or messages. I don't always have the time, but specifically in this case, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts. But anyway, thank you once again for tuning in, and I do appreciate all of the support thus far. Mastermind out.